here's what I want to do tonight. As you know, all roads are leading to Black Friday. All roads are leading to this push and this press for our Founders Pack. And I want to make certain that we are positioning ourselves properly in order to be able to effectively sell it, essentially. And so I'm not certain how many were on earlier today, but I want to kind of talk about, and I'm always welcoming Mr. Diamond Mooney for his input as well, or anyone else that have something they want to share to help, because we're a team and we build. And I want to talk about how to position ourselves as it pertains to being able to sell the Founders Pack, right? The Founders Pack gives you a wonderful opportunity to talk to everybody, especially business people. So when you think about who you're going to talk to with the Founders Pack, here is the top 3 people that I want you to talk to. Number 1, business people or business conscious people. That's one. Number 2, I want you to talk to customers that have been active on a consistent basis. And number 3, I want you to talk to everybody that you didn't want to talk to before. Those are the 3 categories. And why am I saying business people? Because your position of the Founders Pack is uniquely different than your positioning of the crown jewel, the full crown jewel, okay? It's uniquely different. It's uniquely different because, number 1, when you are selling the Founders Pack or the crown jewel, you're selling more so a business opportunity. Does that make sense? You're selling a business opportunity. You're selling, here's what you're selling. You're selling work, right? You are selling time where you're selling people to say, hey, I'm going to give my time to this and I'm going to give my work to this, right? So when you think about that position, the way you position that is totally different. When you position the founder, so the crown jewel, the primary thing you're positioning is an opportunity to start a business. Whereas when you deal with the Founders Pack, the primary positioning is an opportunity to share in the growth and the success of a business that has already been established. Make sense? So we see the difference in positioning. We're positioning 1 to say, hey, come start this business and let's build a business together. Position 2, hey, I'm a part of this business. I'm a part of this corporation. I'm a part of this company that is on pace of being a $1 billion company. And this is a unique opportunity to be able to participate in sharing in the revenue. Listen to the language. I never said invest. Sharing in the revenue for the lifetime of that particular company. That's how you want to position it. So that's important. The mindset has to be that to a certain degree. And that's when you're talking to people that are business people. That's when you're talking to people that are investing savvy type of people. And that's when you're talking to people that says, hey, I'm already busy, but this is something I'll take an opportunity with, okay? Now, how are we going to frame this? How do you frame the conversation? The first thing you have to do, if after you properly position the proposition, and what is your proposition? The Founders Pack. The first thing that you have to do after you properly position the proposition is now you have to properly position the value of the company, right? mega millions are happening, billion dollar companies are established because they solve problems. So in your positioning, you have to be able to clearly, concisely communicate the problem that Wakana has the ability to solve. So for example, Dr. Diamond Mooney, if you don't mind jumping in and just name about 2 or 3 problems that Wakana solves as a company.
Right now, the ones that stick out is financial.
That's one, right?
Number 2 is health. Pain. It's a lot. Number 3 that sticks out is leverage in a brand new industry that we've never had part of.
And see, he's a smart guy because those are the top 3 problems that Wakana solves. Number 1, it solves a money problem. Number 2, it solves a health problem. And number 3, it solves, watch this, an access problem. Because everybody does not have access to the industry. And so when you're selling to a potential founding pack member that is a business savvy member, your positioning with that person is saying, hey, here's what we know. What we know is that more people today are turning to alternative medicine and living a holistic lifestyle than any other time before. That's what we know. What we know is that CBD is one of the fastest growing alternative medicine options in recent history. That's what we know. What we know is that 83% of America still has not heard of or completely understand how CBD can help them. That's what we know. So because we know that, what we see is a landscape of opportunity. You see the positioning from the health perspective. So you identify the problem. The other piece is what we understand is we understand that because of the pandemic, that people took financial hits and they're looking to supplement. You know, they say it's jobs everywhere. The problem is there is jobs everywhere, but they're not good paying jobs everywhere. And so we know that Wakana offers a unique opportunity to supplement income for those that do it as a small business. We also know that not only do they prepare a unique opportunity to supplement income, but from an economic perspective, Wakana is participating not in $1 billion industry, but 6 different billion-dollar industries. So this is how you position it. So you position it with the value of the company, the value of the people. Now watch this, here we go. Now the value of the product. Why is that so important? That's so important because you want to now be able to tell a compelling story. I want to be able to tell a Minister Mooney's story or Ann Mooney's story as it pertains to her son. I want to tell that story. I want to be able to say we have a mother. Watch this. We have a mother who had a son that was struggling academically in class. And she tried tutoring, she tried this, she tried that, and it seemed like nothing worked. Once she became a part of Wakana and gained access to the products, she began to put her 12-year-old son on the product. And her son began to excel academically. Y'all see that? Whenever you tell a story, a customer story, or a testimony about Wakana or your product, always tell the story, here it is, of somebody else first. And put a name to it. Make it personal. But then make certain that you always have a story for yourself. Be able to tell your story. Make certain you personalize it. All of this is how you're positioning your presentation to a potential founding pack member. It's very, very important that you have that story. And then the last piece on this particular subject that I'll share, and I'll open up for some questions or what have you, is ask an open-ended question that gets them to talk about the value that they see based on what they heard. So you don't want them to repeat what you said, which is what they heard. You want them now to articulate the value of what they see based on what they heard. So you have to ask and engage them in some open-ended questions, right? Dr. Diamond Mooney, you want to throw out an open-ended question?
Open-ended question would be, what do you think about my company? Is there...
So watch this. You're right there in the ballpark, and I be throwing him off guards, just so you know, this stuff is always unscripted. I just do it because I know he's a smart brother, and I know he's good.
What do you think about the cannabis industry? Yeah.
So, well, remember, we're driving him towards the same.
Oh, Dan, what did you like about what I've already shown you?
Yeah, and now so here's the deal. Typically after you send the videos, you ask a open-ended question, say, what did you like about the videos the most? Or what you saw on the videos the most? Mm-hmm. That's typically what you ask. Here's another question in positioning this piece. Dr. Diamond Mooney, can you see, or where do you think, based on the information I share with you, where do you think the growth of this company, how fast do you think this company can grow?
Mm-hmm. That's open-ended.
That's open-ended.
The answer is already there. You already know the answer you're going to get.
That's it. And so now, he or she is now articulating how fast the company is going to grow.
Yeah, you're setting them up.
What do you believe the greatest value? We talked about in this type, in being able to share in a company like this, where do you think the greatest value really lies for an individual like you who has the potential to be able to share in part of the company's revenue? Where do you think the greatest value lies?
I would say the greatest value lies in actually, one for me would be to be a part of it, number one. Two, the customer base.
So you see what I'm saying? I'm asking him questions that he can't really give me a negative answer to unless he was an absolute jerk and he didn't understand business. And if that's the case, then now I know how to not stay that long.
Exactly.
I know how to get out.
And those are very good questions, because you're leading me by me just saying, and I'm not thinking, just answering the question, by me just saying the customer base or using myself, you can go right to that stack. Like, man, would you believe that majority of our customer, like we have a 17,000 people customer base in a matter of
all of that. And so that's why I told you position in your proposition, you're going to position the problem that this company is solving. You're going to position the industry, right? One of the fastest growing industries in our time. You're going to position the product of how our products work for people. And then you're going to go back to asking those open-ended questions. Or then watch this. How powerful would it be to be able to share in a 1% share in 1% of the overall gross revenue of a company that's already done about $5 or $6 million in the first 2.5 years from infinity and beyond?
Pretty powerful.
These are the open-ended questions that you have. This is how you position the sale. And you don't be in a hurry,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's right.
But don't take too long.
Mm-hmm.
Make certain that it's short. Make certain that it's clear. Make certain that it's concise in your presentation. Make certain that it's strategic. Don't allow yourself to go into tangents.
Mm-hmm.
Stay focused. Don't allow them to take you on a tangent. Bring them right back. Let me see what time it is. It's 6:52. Any questions? Any questions? Any comments? Any feedback? Come on, y'all, talk to me. 6:52. Want to make certain that we're getting something from this. Y'all can put it in the chat line. And then if there's no questions, then just say, hey, I'm understanding. Because that's why we're here. That's why we invest this time, set this time out to make certain that you guys are getting tools and information that can help you become successful. Dr. Dunn, great open-ended questions. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Erica.
Hold on.
So I have a couple that is interested in getting 2 shares, but they are hesitant. I love positioning your proposition. Thank you. So I'm supposed to close them tonight. Have you identified their hesitation, Crystal?
Yeah, that's important.
Because you got to know where their pain is. So it was financial.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
so here it is. It's financial.
Still the leverage there.
Yeah, there's leverage. 3 different ways there's leverage. Number 1, don't say this. Well, y'all catch this. Here it is. Don't say this. Do not say, well, we have until Black Friday.
No, that's the worst thing that anybody can do right now.
You're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill the deal. Don't say we have.
Thank you for saying that.
Don't say that. Here's what you say. There's a limited amount of shares that's going to be allocated. So what I would recommend to make certain that you get your fair share, right? I recommend that you exercise, if finances is an issue, you exercise your 50% off, your 50% down payment to secure your share. Then I will get them to commit to when they'll pay that 50% balance. And then say, at that point, we'll look and see if there's still an opportunity for you to secure a second share.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
And then there's some extra stuff that's out there too, you all. Value. Technically, very technically, the value of the shares decrease, and there's so much obligations that increase next month versus this month. So let me make it simple. The values of the shares next month are not the same as this month, period. Now, you don't really have to, you're telling the truth. And let me tell you why you're telling the truth. You're telling the truth because points this month is 1,000. Points next month is 800. You're telling the truth because next month they won't have exempt the 3 customers. That means they need 3 transactions, 3 customers for November and December. If they seal the deal by the 31st of this month, I don't even say November the 1st. I don't even want them thinking November. If they seal the deal by the 31st, midnight of the 31st, that means they're exempt from even worrying about the minimum customer qualification until the end of the year.
It also asks specifically how much the shares have averaged as well.
On an average, I usually tell people based off of what I have seen. I've seen shares, as low as $8 a share, as high as $14 a share. I'll usually throw something out there like that. But then I follow up with a math formula, and I think that everybody should do the math because people want to get an idea of what shares could look like.
So if I can interject with that,
go ahead.
When you do the math, go with the big number.
Yes.
Go with the projected number. Right now, the company is valuated at about 20 million, which is a true statement. I think when we first started, it was valuated. I can't remember that number, but it's somewhere the valuation. When you look at the valuation, and valuation is different than cash. Just so you guys can understand that. When you evaluate a business, it's different than how much cash you got in the bank or how much gross revenue that you've made. However, if you use the formula factor, make certain you go with the bigger number.
And let me give you something that's tangible and reasonable. That's very conservative. You can say this. Please write this down so I don't repeat it. Next month, you could say last year we made 1 million, right? Next month, we're projecting to make 2 to 3 million. Could you see us, which is very conservative, I could easily see us making 10 million a month. Then do the math off of 10 million. You do the math off of 10 million.
A month, he said.
A month. Now, 10 million a month, that's very conservative. What I want you to do is use the number of 300 shareholders. Just use that number and say, yeah, it'll probably balance out at about 300 shareholders.
Now, why would you do that? And here's the deal. We always want to make certain we're not embellishing numbers.
Exactly.
We're not. That's why when I said to you, hey, listen, there's limited opportunity. Why? Because he that controls time controls the leverage of the negotiation. Mm-hmm. So when you say average out, yeah, it may be let's say 700 founder pack members, right?
Exactly.
However, they're not necessarily going to cash in on shares.
No.
Because they don't have their 3 customers.
Yep.
So you're going to get about 50% of that.
Mm-hmm.
So now that gets back to that baseline number of 300. Mm-hmm. Because if you say the number is 1,500, not knowing that the number is 1,500, not knowing how many is actually going to be able to cash in on their shares, then it's going to bring the level of shares down.
And it's going to happen that way.
You see? So this is why how you position your proposition is so important.
Yes.
That's all we got tonight. I hope that was helpful. But it's very critical that you properly position your proposition while you're doing this founding members pack. I'm going to turn it over to none other than the warm and the wonderful, the absolutely amazing, the one that is kicking tail and blazing, none other than our beloved sister, our beloved family, and our beloved friend, Kathy Weathersby.